Hey guys, welcome back to another video. In today's video I am going to be going over the upcoming update, which is the Wilderness Reborn that we will be seeing in the game on August 1st. Alongside the Wilderness Reborn, we are getting a brand new quest called the Daughter of Chaos, and this quest is going to extend on the Elder God Wars storyline. To start the quest, you can speak to Adrestia in the Falador Castle throne room, and the quest does have two requirements, being 40 archaeology and 40 divination. The rewards for the quest include an Infernal Box upgrade, which will give you a 10% damage reduction and 5% increased damage output to monsters in the wilderness. And also you will get an increased resistance to the Infernus environment when fighting the Zamorak boss. You'll also get some XP lamps for 30,000 XP for divination and archaeology, and some new cosmetic overrides. Now let's talk about the Wilderness Reborn, which is the brand new Wilderness update. So the main new change with the Wilderness in RuneScape 3 is that you will be able to toggle on and off PvP. So basically it makes the Wilderness no longer dangerous to other players if you do toggle it off, and there is no incentive to toggle PvP on outside of using a demonic skull. Now, they still wanted to make the Wilderness dangerous to players, so instead of being dangerous and the risk being other players attacking you, they're going to basically have a threat system in the Wilderness, and it's going to be dangerous from other mobs and the new volcano that they did create. So while you're in the Wilderness, either killing mobs for Slayer or training or doing whatever, you will sometimes be ambushed by enemy mobs. Now, these will spawn right on top of you, and depending on your threat level, the mobs will be more powerful and there will be more of them. So basically, the more time you spend in the Wilderness completing activities or Slayer tasks, your threat level will rise, and as it does rise, the risk of death increases. You'll deal more damage and take more damage when your threat level is higher. Ambushes will occur more often, and there will be larger groups and more difficult monsters. And also, the volcano will shoot magical lava at you, which will hit you harder and more often. This lava mechanic you can think of is quite similar to the Araxor mechanic on Path 1, where it will just shoot either a magic or range attack at you. They do talk about having prayer to protect against this volcano attack, so I would assume it is quite similar to that. There is now going to be an incentive to do Slayer in the Wilderness, so completing Wilderness Slayer tasks will award you 15 Slayer points plus your threat level. I'm not quite sure what the max threat level is at this time, but I would imagine that you will be able to get quite a few Slayer points from this. Also, when you do reach task milestones, for example, completing your 10th task will award you 75 Slayer points, and it will give you a 5 times multiplier to your threat level for Slayer points as well. You'll also be awarded 1 Reaper point for completing a Slayer task in the Wilderness without dying, without killing outside Wilderness creatures, or skipping a task. Additionally, Slayer mobs can be found in their greatest density in the Wilderness, and killing them here grants you access to the Wilderness drop table. Also, all creatures in the Wilderness are going to be aggressive, and that will remain constant, so it's not like they will be aggressive for 5 or 10 minutes, they'll always be aggressive, which will save you on a lot of aggression potions. And finally, when you do complete a Wilderness Slayer task, you will earn a Wilderness Slayer chest containing anything from threat level reductions to death touch darts and Slayer bounty weapons like the Annihilation. Here's a full look at the items you can get from this new Slayer chest. So essentially you can get a lot of the items that you could previously get on the Wilderness drop table, but there's also some items on here that were previously only obtainable through Treasure Hunter. You got Death Touch Darts, which is a really nice addition. There's a brand new salvage, which is going to be a Necronium salvage. This is going to be better than Orichalcum, so we can only assume that that's going to be alchemable for a lot of money. Of course, you got the Decimation, Annihilation, and Obliteration weapons. You got a Reaper Scroll, which will allow you to exchange it for another Reaper task. And as I mentioned, the threat level decreases and resets. You also got Volcanic Protection, which will protect you from the volcanic projectiles. and wilderness hilts, and etc. So there's a lot of really cool rewards that you can get from this, and it might make it so Wilderness Slayer is actually the best thing to do, and I will surely be testing this out when the update does release. A few other changes worth mentioning include that Mandareth will be moved to the Deep Wilderness, so he won't be in the regular spot. You'll have to go to the Deep Wilderness to get the Slayer task from Mandareth, and as before, he will not respect the block and preferred task lists for Slayer. Also, as mentioned, you will be ambushed by mobs, and there will be some wandering demons. And so it does say that when you do kill some of these creatures from the ambushes or these demons, they will not drop any items and they won't count for Slayer tasks. Personally, I think that is pretty disappointing. It would be nice for these creatures to at least drop something, because I'm assuming it will be a bit of a time consuming thing when they do spawn. Also, the Demonic Skull and Brawlers will remain unchanged. The Demonic Skull will opt you into PvP, so do keep that in mind. That's basically the only reason why you would want to go into PvP, unless you're out there actually looking to fight other people. Also, movement abilities like Surge and Bladed Dive will now be allowed in the Wilderness. The Deathmatch reward shop will remain the same, and it will still be accessed from Mandareth's old location. Also, none of the dungeons or skilling locations have been changed in the Wilderness, and the ambushes and volcano hits will still be a threat while you are skilling. Warbands remains a PvP activity, so if you are taking part in that, you will get a skull, and PvP will be enabled when you do get the resources from it. And similarly, the Divination Cursed Wisps, when you do have some of those in your inventory, it will mark you with a PvP skull for that as well. And so anyway guys, that is all we have for the information for this new update. It is going to be pretty exciting checking out the entirety of the Wilderness Reborn, and I do think this will give the Wilderness just overall a bit more use, and personally I do think it is a pretty good change for the game. Now, let me know in the comments down below what you guys think of the Wilderness Reborn, and of course the removal of PvP, or allowing players to opt in and out of PvP. I'm really curious to see what you guys think. I think PvP is something that we're moving away from, especially in RuneScape 3. It's more about PvM, so I do like the idea that they have sort of grasped PvM and are putting it in the forefront, especially with the Wilderness content, just to make it a bit more relevant. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching. I really hope you did enjoy the video, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.